journey. Okay. Here we are. Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. Where are you watching from? You're watching from Facebook, you're watching from YouTube, watching from Zoom. Let's try to get you up here. Okay, here we go. Now I can see. All right, put you up there. There we are. All right. Good morning.
Recording in progress.
You need to get something. Well, you're back already. It took so long. All right. I needed to get something too. I needed to get all the other places online so that we can all create this orchestra together, this symphony orchestra. Right. I am going to put a link in the chat for later. Those of you on the Zoom, you don't need it. You'll get an email. What am I looking for? Restream. All right. So, how are you? Take a moment just while I do this to do your scan. If you're new, if you haven't been here before, asking, how are you? Isn't a pleasantry in my world necessarily. I'm asking you to ask yourself and to connect into yourself, to hear those little whispers, to hear the little whispers. How are you? Ask yourself. I am that I am. Check in with your physical, your beautiful, amazingly intelligent human systems, your flesh, the circulatory system, the blood that is part of that runs through your veins, your capillaries, the cells, and how astonishing a cell is. Its own universe. And you have trillions. I used to say 52 trillion. Who knows? Who knows what that decimal is for you? Who knows? So, how are you today? How is this system, this vehicle, this being that carries you that assists you in every moment to be here. If you had a word or a number, let's do what numbers 1 to 10. 1, that there's maybe a lot of constriction, a lot of challenges, maybe some pain. You feel some of that density in moving. And a 10, the fluid, your body is singing with the choir, same tune, in tune. Pop that in the chat when you've done that. Get an idea of where you are in this moment, how you are, what that vibration is from every cell and beyond every cell. And say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My Guru. Thank you, my beloved. Thank you, beloved. Thank you, great Mother Divine, Mother Divine, Father. Thank you, Supreme Consciousness. In gratitude and great gratitude, in the grandest gratitude to you. What a miraculous being you are. A human being. Thank you for this experience of the human today. There's many, many thousands that are moving from that experience in this moment. So thank you. We have another opportunity of being into our, maybe a little doing, just for fun. So 1 to 10, now yeah. I'm keep an eye on the time because I've got an awesome experience for my WMM people, my WMM, or is it WMM or WMM people? Our holistic mystic mastermind, where we are going to do some viewing training. So just to give you a heads up, at any moment you want to run and get your colors, not painting, some sort of either crayons or pencils. I've just got colored pencils. And we're going to do a process that I talked about last week. And you just need, you can have a journal or a piece of paper. I have a watercolor, or actually, it's like watercolor paper. But I'm not going to use the whole thing. I'm going to fold it in half and do small ones because I mentioned to my inner circle that we are going to go into that soon. And I was like, you know what I was going to teach you, I'm not feeling. But by the time we get there, we might. What came in this morning was this. And I was like, you know what? Maybe we just need to do something that is honing back into your intuitive capacities, but also learning about yourself, about others, and about the processes of how we see, how we view, how we communicate, not by theory necessarily, although, you know, I can't help myself, but via being in the space and R-ing through to each other. There's tell you a little story. I'm not big on spas. I'm just saying they're hot. I'm Ishnad. I'm Simran Ishnad. That is my spiritual name, which is all about cold water therapy, right? I am a fire element with a secondary water element. Okay. Fire is already hot. Fire doesn't want any more wet heat. Okay. But part of my beloved's processes in the morning is the spa. So I went in the spa. Anyway, it was beautiful. It was actually beautiful. You float in it because it's salt water. It floats, buoyant. And as I was laying there buoyantly, we've got this great tree that literally is right next to it. And it has all these beautiful orange red flowers. And I was reflecting on when we first moved here, it was barren. And I did wonder, although thank you for all the blessings, but I did wonder, as my human, I don't know if I can stay here without the critters, the creatures, the birds, the life in that way. It was a struggle for me. I had to be in gratitude every moment, right? Which we should be anyway. But I was reflecting on the abundance. And I guess you want to understand if I showed you now what it was like. And it's, to some people, a bit of a mess, but it's like this rambling nature now. My whole garden, Rebel. Oh, you know, when I went planting weeds, not weeds. I'm planting weeds. They're everywhere now. All these, you know, flowers going everywhere, and it's a pretty much a bit of a mess. But the critters love it. Now, we do have scorpions, but they're little ones, and they're quite cute. And I don't mind them. They just need to stay in their space. I saw the little mice come back, and I said, "Hello, little friends. Please stay outside." The lizards, the geckos, that, you know, have babies all around us, and, you know, anyway, the dragonflies, the big fluffy black bees, wood borers, I believe. We don't have those in Australia. What a joy to sit and watch those wood borers. Is that what they're called? Wood borer bees. They're like a bumblebee but black. Land on the lavender. It lights my heart. The butterflies. So many different butterflies. But the bird life here, I'm telling you, when we first got here, it was barren. There was hardly any birds. I mean, there were birds on the island, obviously, but not necessarily here. We've created this little paradise. It's the energy. Oh, now I know why I'm showing this. Because we talked about the pillar of light, didn't we? Some of us, if you knew, probably not. But we talked about the pillar of light where I lived for 20 years and how that energy of the place changed. And I was reflecting on that And I was also reflecting on some of the old teachings that may be new to you around when I would have my clinic space in Perth, which was at the back of my property. And it had glass doors looking down into the paddock, down onto the wetlands, and just abundant wildlife and a lot of endangered species. And when I was working energetically on something, I would watch how the environment shift and changed as I worked on it. And I did this for years, hundreds, thousands of people. It would happen whether I was on the phone to you, whether I was on a Zoom call, or whether you were in person. It still happens today. I don't mention it so much now, because when you would come and lay on the massage table and I'd start running your energies and whatnot, the environment, the world would show me what's happening, because you are that. I am that. We are that. And as you would come, maybe week after week, or fortnight after fortnight, or month after month, depending, some people would come once a month, if you're really chronic, maybe more regularly. Over time, the people that were coming learned the language. So simply by me modeling it, meaning as I felt particular energy in their system, and I noticed the wind come up and move the energetics and the wind and the livestock, the critters, the trees, the vines, the wisteria vines that hung around and how everything moved. It's a language. It's a language. And for many, many years, over 30 years, I spoke this language and not a soul really understood me. Right? Until over time, I would have students or clients come back and say, I know what you're talking about now. I understand. The tree spoke to me. The bird, I understood the movement of the wings. I felt it in my body. I am that. And I was like, just smile. If any of you, this is the message here, if any of you are feeling like you speak another language, people do not understand you, there are ways of knowing that could support you. Or being part of a group that has seen everything and nothing phases them. And also learning around some of the energy styles, the rhythms, sometimes called elements, but to me I see them as rhythms, right? Almost like the rhythm section of a band or an orchestra. You have the bass, you have the rhythm guitarist or the bass guitarist, right? What rhythm? And the drums that count you in, that keep you with the rest of the band playing. together. And so there's so many ways of knowing. I put in the chat, it's new. None of you have this. I put in the chat an invitation to 2 things. So we have our cloak, our masks, our capes, our costumes that we wear. Right? We're in this ball of life. And we're all wearing our invisible costumes over our fleshy exteriors. And these costumes, some may just have a mask, some may have a full costume, some may have an armor, some may have all of it. And they're made of the material that they're constructed out of is made from your beliefs and conditioning, your emotional patterns, all that's carried you since childhood, since birth, in fact. What's impacted you in your life thus far to this point has created these layers of clothing that sometimes you don, you put these on, maybe when you may have different colored ones or different styles, that when you go here, you put this attire on, and you go there, you put that attire on. And maybe you feel no one else can see it. If they see it through the felt sense of the energy that it has or doesn't have, how it projects or how it deflects life, your fears. So your fears around opening to receive, so you close to deflect, right? So rather than metal or Kevlar or titanium, we have all these behaviors. And they've served you well. They're here to protect. They're designed to protect you, us. But we can get stuck. We keep getting stuck. I mentioned a few weeks ago about, the boots that are too small, or the Armani suits that you don't want to donate. Remember? Some of you were here. Or the shoes, the stuff, the baggage we carry around. And, over time, we build these walls, these emotional walls thicker. Nothing gets in, but nothing can get out. Sounds like triple whammy, doesn't it? So that triple whammy is an energetic aspect of what we're talking about. So knowing these styles knowing these styles. What's your style? What's your protective style? Understanding your style can help you navigate that, what kept you safe, not dismantling the what would you call it? You're not dismantling the security system, you're upgrading. Right? It's not about just going, oh, we're gonna, clear and get rid of all the things that have kept you safe and comfortable, and knowing to some degree what you can or can't receive with that particular costume on, cape on, mask on. You'll understand that through your life, wearing this particular style will give you this particular experience most of the time, right? We can talk about it in the aura in a different way, but maybe we'll do that another day. So I'm going to wrap up in a moment. But these styles, these ways that we have protected ourselves, as I said, are preventing a full experience. They're preventing you from fully experiencing what I explained earlier. The intimacy with nature, intimacy with a human is part of nature. We're mammals. You have that full experience of life. If you are here embodied, it's part of what you're here to experience. So maybe you don't know what your style is, what you're wearing. It's invisible. You know that you get stopped by certain things, but maybe you're completely oblivious to what that might be. Or you have some consciousness around it, but you don't know what to do. So you just soldier on, right? So what's your go-to defense mechanism? What do you, when things get emotionally intense, what do you go to? How are you when things get intense emotionally? Right? Do you become the life of the party? Do you withdraw? Do you want to do more, right? To prove your worth? All those overachieving. So the life of the party can avoid deeper connections. Because if it's all rah, rah, yeah, let's go. Where's the stillness to actually be with another, to be with nature? Right? Do you have a sense of what or how you are in stressful situations? Do you want to go towards it like the tough guy, right? Or gal, he's got his armor on, so he's good. Or do you want to withdraw, stop talking, go to another room, never speak to that person again? Or do you want to be the cheerleader? Right? There's all the different styles. Once you've spotted your style, your costume, your armor, we can then look at where the core injury is that it's protecting. Right? The critical parents, the childhood betrayal, the time that you were laughed at. How many of you, I see this, because we do a lot of creativity and we're about to, when we change over to holistic mystic, in a circle, we're going to do some telepathy research using creativity, right? So you've drawn as a child, or you've created something, and that was laughed at, or you were told that it wasn't good enough. So when I'm teaching people to do intuitive art and whatnot, there's so much fear there. And so if ever I have teachers, modeling and sharing how to support somebody's expression, what's different, the differentiation, the beauty of that. Right? So once you understand it's a sensation, the wound, the fear, you can begin to feel it. It's the consciousness. It's the consciousness. So I'm just looking at the time, I'm going to wrap up and move over in a moment. But if you're like, I don't know how to figure out my unique composition, my unique style, my unique protective style, I don't know how to identify my fears and turn them into fuel for growth, I don't know. I put a link, I put two links actually, because one is to a quiz or a tick and flick where you can get a sense of what your adaptive style may be. Now you can be a bunch of them. It's like the rhythms, the elements, that you can go and have a look anyway. And there's a bunch of information there I put together just to give you more of an idea of what I'm talking about, so that, we speak similar language, if that's possible. Right. So I'm just going to put it in again. I'll see if I can put it in again, because there's a bunch of people that just come on and they really won't see it. So one's the quiz. It's free. Just go on, have a look. And the other one, I'm just putting it into the red stream. There you go. And the other one is the spiritwhisperer.online. The reason I put that in there is because on Saturday and Sunday, on Saturday and Sunday, I'm running a free workshop. So if you sign up now for the series, Spirit Whisperer series, you'll still get the rest of the week. So there's speakers every day. You can watch those, all awesome. There's lots of free gifts and whatnot. But why I'm bringing it up now is because I'm running a free workshop Saturday and Sunday. So 3 hours each day, roughly. And it's not theory, it's experiential. Yes, there'll be theory there, there'll be talking. But I want you to get to know more about you, how you work, what your abilities are, how to build those, how to touch into things that have been holding you back and those sorts of things, all right? So at the moment, I'm still building the page for that, which will tell you all about it. So I will put it on to Rhombus Healing Arts, or wherever you're watching from, I'll put that link for the workshop. But for now, you can just sign up to spiritwhisperer.online. It's free. And you'll get an email with the Zoom link, right? And, very shortly. So if you don't want to miss that, go on to spiritwhisperer.online, and it'll come up as a Spirit Whisperer series, Ego Evolution, how to turn fear into fuel for growth. that's awesome, right? You'll get an email with a speaker every day until Friday. But why I'm telling you again is that after Friday, we go into the free workshop, which is live and experiential. So you can start to bring together a lot of this information, but also the rhythms, the energetics, and how it all works together. All right. So if you'd like to come, it's completely free, and I'm inviting you. Oh. Yeah. So any questions, put them in the chat and I will get to those. But you've got the links there now, so pop over there. So one is for the free gift of, around how to find your adaptive strategy, which is the armor or the costume or the style that you wear as a protection. And we have different costumes, right? In business, in relationships, the different ones will come up at different times, but you'll get a general sense. The one that I put in for you on that link is a general one, right? And you can just start to get a sense of, even by the questions, you can get a sense of, oh, okay, I have that behavior, or I don't have that behavior, or I see that in these situations, but not in these situations. So it's a really good self-reflection. There's a whole lot of other information in there that I think, on that real earth survival ego aspect, which we all have, will be helpful for you. And we will be going into the other aspect in due time, which is the other polarity. But when you have a sense of what you've been conditioned, how you've been conditioned, and how that impacts how you are in the world, then we can start to look at the fear of love, which is as you expand in your spiritual development. And once you see it, I don't know if I know some of you here, because you've been learning about this for a while. It's like when you hear people speak or you watch something, you can see how they're not, or how they are, how they're projecting unconsciously, and how they use certain tools and techniques to get out of what needs some relationship building. It's like somebody that maybe could be a family member, just as a scenario, right? That it's easier just not to talk to them, or it's easier to fight with them than to talk about where the fear is coming from and how that feels. Because the vulnerability and intimacy that's required for courage to do that it feels uncomfortable. It scares us. And that's okay. And I've seen it over and over again that we, particularly those of you on your spiritual path, right? So many, newly awakening people, and they get to this spiritual ego. And so when we have an understanding of our survival ego and our spiritual ego, that's unconditional love. So that's why it's important to touch into and not push away aspects of ourselves. Those costumes, those styles protected you. Now you have the opportunity to upgrade your security system to a state-of-the-art system rather than this clunky armor. And that state-of-the-art system will keep you safe where appropriate, right? And allow information in as well. It's like triple warmer, the energy, the masculine energetic arm of the nervous system, triple warmer. When you are stressed, that is your protector energetically. And it goes on. And what does it do? Exactly the same as the armor. It pulls up the drawbridge of the castle. You are the castle. And nothing gets in, but nothing gets out either. There's a stop. When triple warmer has the opportunity, when you go, okay, I got this, I can see that fear or that light or that car, you know, cutting me off or whatever it is, and you meet the fear with love, triple warmer has the opportunity to lay down its sword, to lay down the protection. And the reason that that's so important, right? The reason that that's so important is triple warmer is a meridian, so an energy pathway in the body. It has specific pathways that we can trace. But more importantly, because that's the polarity of the energy, but it has the neutrality. So in the body, it's positive, negative, but the neutrality is what goes with us when we die. So the polarity goes into the earth with the body, or into the flames, or however you roll there. Right? Earth to earth. The earth experiences that, positive, negative. Neutral goes with us. It's the essence of us, right? And it's what holds the polarities together. So every time we get stressed, the poles, the positive, negative, so the yin yang gets pushed apart. And each time that gets pushed apart, we're closer to death, right? But in between the space is the neutral. Why is that important in this conversation? Because triple warmer is one of those meridians, but it's also what's called it's this circuitry that's neutrality, when it doesn't have to keep you safe anymore. If it's completely on 24/7, it can't be everywhere. So, I mean, I guess we can teach about this another day, because it's a whole amazing teaching on how this particular energy protects us, right? But also, if it's on constantly in that protective mode, it can't be a radiant circuit. It can't be a joy circuit. It can't be that full, abundant, expansive, essential process that is everywhere all the time, because it's doing this job. Now, it's one of the only meridians that is a meridian and a radiant circuit. So, all right. So you've got your links there to come to the workshop, or grab that link, because we're not only talking about the physiology and the adaptive strategies of your relational injury, your core wounds, that the more psychology or physiological aspects of what's going on for you. We touched in that so that you can go, you're anchored, you're solid, so you can go further in your expansion. Okay. And as you go further in your expansion, at the other end, you'll hit survival ego, which is around the fear of love, the fear of your greatness, meaning, you experience something so tremendous and you're in awe, you're in bliss, you're in an under, And then within moments or within hours or sometimes days, you doubt it and you start to go, that couldn't have been true. I dreamed it, or you start to forget that your amnesia, because there's a fear of being all that, among other things. All right. So thank you for joining us. Grab those links. And for those of you in Holistic Mystic, go over to the Zoom link and we will start out in a circle where we're going to do some telepathy and remote viewing research and activity for that. And anyone watching that wants to be a part of that, I think the link's under where you're watching. So Holistic Mystic Mastermind. Okay. So those of you that are coming over, make sure you've got your paper and some colors, either pencils or, because we're doing it via a creative practice or process. And the rest of you, until we meet again, may the blessings be. And I hope to see you on the weekend. Much love. So we just have a moment for you to get